What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko. The negotiations have begun. Undisputed lightweight champion Devin the Dream Haney and former unified champion Vasily Lomachenko have started negotiations that a fight is being pegged for early 2023, according to Top Rank. We'll have to see if the negotiations produce a fight, because Haney, which is 29-0 with 15 KOs, said that the bout with the former three-division world champion Lomachenko, which is 17-2-11, would need to make sense. Haney would be the A side, and whether the fight is made or not will be determined by how desperate Lomachenko is to make it happen. Haney looked huge when he stepped into the ring after Lomachenko's win over Jermaine Ortiz on October 29th at Madison Square Garden in New York. It won't be surprising if Haney fails to make weight, which would mean that the 4 belts would be available to Lomachenko. And Devin Haney said this: Lomachenko is an excellent fighter, but we saw him lose to a much bigger Teofimo Lopez in 2020. Teofimo looked at least 15 pounds heavier than Loma, if not 20. He's considered the next component to be Devin. Let's make it happen, said Bill Haney about Lomachenko being the likely next opponent for the undisputed lightweight championship. There's no other opponent we're looking at, and he's not looking at nobody. I know I won't be given the opportunity to make the announcement. We got a company in Top Rank that is willing to do it. We got our broadcaster at ESPN that is interested in and loves the idea of it. They've been behind Devin and George Kambosos, both 1 and 2. All the right players are behind it, and now it's time just about the X's and the O's. Let me stop right there. We have Devin Haney. We have Vasily Lomachenko. They're both with Top Rank. I don't see why the fight shouldn't happen. But it is how much Vasily Lomachenko wants it. Obviously, the undisputed champion has some demands. He will be the A side, so he will get a bigger portion of the split, the bigger guarantee. Top Rank is known to give people guarantees, people. That's standard. So he would want the bigger portion of that. And Devin Haney saying, hey, the fight has to make sense. But it's like, okay, well, here's the counterpunch, though. If there's no other fight that you want, the fight has to make sense. You're the A side. You're getting paid, and I don't think really that being the A side should make a difference, because you're undisputed. The A side doesn't mean you haven't lost. The A side doesn't mean you're the better fighter. The A side doesn't mean anything about that. The A side has everything to do with what is your marquee value? What is your banking potential? What is your earning potential? How many seats do you fill? That's the A side. Okay, that's what people need to understand about being the A side. Hey, I'm the A side because I won. Andrew Ruiz whooped Anthony Joshua's ass June 1st, 2019. But was he the A side in December? No. His name was first. That doesn't mean he was the A side. Okay? He came out last. That doesn't mean he was the A side. There is a difference. So Joshua made $85 million. He made 13. You know what I mean? It's hard to say who was the A side or not, right? Come on. The A side is who makes the most money, who's more bankable. So if Devin Haney is hell-bent on that fight not happening because he's not the A side, I think, he needs to understand, like, look, you beat George Kambosos, that beat Teofimo Lopez, that beat Lomachenko. I get it. You're the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy. But if that's the only fight that you want, I think he could let up a little bit on the demands if that's a deal breaker. Because in boxing, things are very, very subtle and things are very fucking passive. People hear things, and if they didn't like it, you won't hear about it until you stop hearing from them. It's kind of like one of those things. It's like it's not transparent as you would like it to be, especially when these negotiations take place. But everything looks good. Everything looks promising. Everything looks like it should go. They're both with Top Rank. They're both with Bob Arum. I don't see why that fight can't happen. The only concern I have for Devin Haney is, though, can he make that weight? He's a lot bigger. Obviously, he's growing. He's a young man and he's growing. That's what we do. When we're younger, we grow bigger. We grow to our natural weight, and 135 ain't it. Okay, we've seen how he looked, and he looked bad. He looked starched. He looked beyond starched. He looked really, 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 really dehydrated. So those are the type of things you have to consider when taking a fight with Lomachenko, because we all know Lomachenko is the smaller fighter. Okay, so he won't have problems making weight, but Devin will. So at what disadvantage does that leave him? Of course, he's the undisputed, and, being undisputed, you have to protect and defend all of those belts that you have obtained, which he has all of them. Okay, so him going into Lomachenko, that would be a good fight, an ideal fight, but hopefully he can do that one more time, but we will see if that can happen. I think he's young enough to do so, but then again, who knows? It depends on how far off the beating path naturally is he from making that weight and constantly making that weight, consistently making that weight. What is it really doing to his body? You know what I mean? And if he can make it, will he be like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. against Canelo? Just starched and really no good, not even competitive, because he lost so much weight. He just did just enough to make the weight, but really nothing else. So that's what I think about when I think of Lomachenko. I'm sorry, Devin Haney. Lomachenko, it's up to him, I think, if this is the best shot for him too. So to flip it, I think Lomachenko shouldn't be hell-bent on getting the A side either. I think these guys should cordially agree, okay, mutually agree on what's going to be what in order to see this fight happen, because Lomachenko's getting old. And no, he's not the same fighter. I've been saying this the last couple fights, the last couple of years with Lomachenko. I see those pivots getting a little slower. I see his movements getting a little slower. So he's not the same type of fighter. So if he can pull out one last nice, decent performance at a certain level, he should do that now and take this as a stern opportunity. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of the negotiations just beginning between Devin Haney, Lomachenko. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!